unpleasant journey. Slowly, clumsily, you make your way back to the grain terminal. No words are spoken. No bad jokes made. No monologues muttered, and no smiles exchanged. There's always silence and vacant stares. As you head up the stairs to D'Angelo's office, you can feel the tension rising. You can tell the moldy salute has reached a breaking point. He walks into his office and leans on his cluttered desk. You figure now is as good a time as any to break the silence. You should probably rest. Why don't you go grab some shut-eye? It's been a long night. The moment you finish your sentence, D'Angelo leans in and sweeps over a step off the desk. No past piece of paper, and it looks like a cheap imitation of an antique lamp. It all comes crashing onto the floor. It doesn't stop there. As he grabs a heavy file cabinet and knocks it open, slowly but surely, the once quiet office turns into a heap of crumbled paper and broken furniture. I mean, the reason why I didn't try to fuck Larson over is because he has families now. It just doesn't feel like the right thing for me to do, to fuck with their lives. I mean, killing Larson is easy, yeah, sure, but his family, they're innocent. I don't think that is a decision I can make, but I'm not going to risk our lives for it by taking her out of the city. I will not do that. This might be sad, but ultimately I think this is the decision I will pick if the circumstance call for it. The tantrum lasts for mere seconds, but as you stand there watching, it feels like forever. Finally, D'Angelo stops and looks up at the ceiling. It's hard to tell if he's had enough or simply run out and start to throw around. As he stands there, slowly regaining composure, one of the objects scattered on the floor catch your eye. It's a small paperback novel, the same you saw Sana reading earlier tonight. It must have landed there while D'Angelo was giving the room a royal trashing. You pick it up. The title on the cover spells, in huge letters, The Longest Night and Other Stories. The small caption underneath reads, another collection of stories in the Gianni D'Angelo saga. What in the actual fuck? You flip it over and are immediately drawn to the picture on the back cover. If not for a lack of flaky skin and distorted features, you would say the guy looks very familiar. The name next to the picture, Reginald Finch. You stand there not even knowing where to start. Even in his current state, D'Angelo or whatever his name is remains one step ahead of you. Yeah, that's me in the picture. Reggie fucking Finch. I haven't seen him in a while. Wasn't planning to. Just who the hell are you? I don't even know who you are anymore. I am what you see, kid. Say what you will, but I wear my heart amongst other things on my sleeve. I'm not Roger Finch in D'Angelo custom. I am D'Angelo. Roger Finch. I left that guy by the wayside a long time ago. Honestly, it just gotta sorta happen. Guess it was the only way I could make sense of it all. I mean, once you wake up looking like this, realizing your life and all that you were is gone forever, you can't really blame me for trying to at least make it interesting. It's okay to be D'Angelo. I guess to some extent, well, act in front of others. We make up characters, idealized versions of ourselves. It gave us something to live up to. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still weird, but it's not that weird. D'Angelo. For a moment, he seems to be mulling over what you just told him. Finally, he picks up the ashtray off the floor. Rummaging through the ash, he finds a mangled, half-finished cigarette. He sticks it in his mouth and lights up, the flame of the lighter reflecting in his shades. He smiles at you ever so slightly. Thanks, kid. Tell you what, how about you take the rest of the night off, and it's some time to get my shit in order. Starting with this office, some dumb assholes has made one hell of a mess of it. That's my nod. Nod's back. I'll be seeing you. And so you leave him to his thoughts. Nowhere to be sure, but you have a feeling. It's gonna be alright. Oh, I don't have anything going on. So let's go ahead and do this. You have started to look at church differently since your last encounter with Benoit. Not sure what happened inside, but it was unavoidably real, you felt it. And then you leave him. It doesn't seem to be very common though. In New York, you pass 1,000 people every night, and none of them have made you feel so afraid and insignificant. Well, they don't have fates. Just like everyone else. In this day and age, we don't have fates anymore. I mean, it's fucking hard to believe in anything now. What's up with all those random shits going on? And it's just that you heard about the bad news every so often. You find it so hard to believe in anything. To have faith, maybe you need to, you know, live your life without the internet connections. But that is just, I don't know. Living like that is just, I don't know. Trying to be, you know, ignorant. It's not going to work forever, you know. And you can't ignore everything. If you were to encounter someone like Father Anthony in the subway or nightclub, you would know. There are many churches in the 5 boroughs, and you're pretty sure most of them don't contain someone whose faith can touch you in this way. Yet you have become wary. They just might. Still tonight, the cathedral looks as before. A striking landmark acting as a symbol of faith for people who have no idea that vampires exist in their midst. For them, questions of faith and myths are theoretical or philosophical. For you, those same questions suddenly define the meaning of your new existence. You stick into the cathedral like an old hand, as if going to church had been a regular part of your life. Inside the cathedral is almost deserted. You're not sure if you'll be meeting Benoit alone. The idea of feeling Father Anthony's fate on your undead flesh fills you with terror. He's waiting for you in the front pews of the cathedral in the exact same spot where you saw Father Anthony. Where you approach, but you don't feel the touch of fate that shook you before. He nods as you sit next to him in the pew. Many kindred wonder what we are. You can walk away. Many of kind choose to live in ignorance of what it really means to be damned. You have had some time to think. I'm guessing you found the touch of Father Anthony's fate hard to ignore. For most people, God's presence is the question of faith. When I talk with Father Anthony, it feels like proof. He's fervent, intense as he speaks. It's clear these questions have consumed his existence. Perhaps they will consume yours too. What does the Camarilla believe? The old ones. It's true the elders are not always so good at teaching their children. Maybe the Camarilla would function better if we all knew these stories. He looks around reflexively to make sure nobody's listening. There are only a few people in the enormous cathedral, and they don't seem to be interested in learners murmuring to each other in the front pew. It might seem like ancient history. Things that happened thousands of years ago. But time works differently for our time. If the stories are true, there are Methuselahs still in existence who walked the earth when Jesus was alive. The only problem is that old vampires lie. They are just history to suit their egos. So let's focus on what we can verify. Our blood, the effects of Father Anthony's belief. I suppose that would be the scientific approach. Still, I can't let go of the idea that the old story was tell us something. This is how the story goes. God cursed Cain as punishment for the murder of Abel. Cain walked the night shunned by humanity and drank blood to sustain himself. Even from the point of our origin, we are damned. However, the story becomes really interesting when we move forward. Cain creates more our kind, often referred to as the second generation. They live in the first city, later called Anarchs, ruling openly over the city's human inhabitants. I see the first city as Cain's redemption. Cursed by God to wander, he remade himself as a ruler and lawgiver, acting as an immortal shepherd to humanity. It only started to go wrong when the second generation begot the third and vampires started to run amok. So, the third generation, also known as the Antediluvians, who found the great vampire clans. You can trace a direct lineage of blood to the Antediluvian of your clan. We know much more about them than we know about the second generation. After the first city, Cain largely departs the story. Perhaps he was disheartened by the depredation of his descendants. The Antediluvians went on to build a second city in limitation of the first, but it's doubtful their rule was just. There are people moving in. The Cathedral and Brujah and Ventrue have made sure none get close enough to hear you talk. Many of the people you have seen have been elderly or disabled, so it's not surprising you hear the squeak of a wheelchair. What alarms you is that you overhear an older woman speaking with a Russian accent, mentioned Father Anthony. Let's find Father Anthony and see if he can help us. From what I've heard, he's an exceptional man. You turn to look and see two men and a woman. All three are in their 50s, clearly well worn by life. One of the men pushed the woman in a wheelchair. She's dark and intense, seemingly only half in this world. Yeah, exceptional, but he doesn't like moles. The speaker shorter of the man, more animated and worried. He was probably strong in his youth, perhaps even an athlete. His voice carries a mid-western accent. We're all interested in whatever he likes, blank bodies. You and Benoit look at each other. This is bad news. Whoever these three are, they can't be good for you. You need to get out. Let's meet outside. Move discreetly to the side. Better not to call attention to yourself. You decide to move to the side of the cathedral and pretend to pray at an altar. You walk casually towards the side, away from the three approaching models. You feel their eyes boring into your back, but you force yourself to be cool. Benoit is nowhere to be seen. You blink, and he disappears in a burst of speed. Or it was too conspicuous, but maybe the model missed it. You pretend to admire the architecture for a while before glancing back at the trio. They have settled at the exact spot you just occupied, apparently waiting for something and conversing in hushed tones. When you're sure their attention is elsewhere, you start walking briskly down the side aisle towards the exit. That was a close call. Who were those three? Did you recognize them? I might have. I'm not sure. There's talk of a few tenacious vampire hunters living in the city. One of them is supposed to be a woman in a wheelchair. For a second, Benoit looks at you as if he was wondering whether he should say something. There's one thing I've always wondered about the story of Cain. The traditions of the Camarilla put a lot of faith in the relationship between sire and child. You're supposed to follow the example of your maker, yet Cain didn't really seem to care for the vampires he embraced. Didn't he? It was a mistake to create our kind. We should make our own way in the world. All this talk of Cain's sires and child makes me think we're bound to the hierarchy forever. We are, my friend. We are, unless you want to go to Anarchs. You know, I'm Sophie's child. And you are her protege. What? It is amazing that we share an appreciation for the mythologies of our kind, considering Sophie has little interest in questions of the spirit. You stared at Benoit. You knew there was something he wasn't telling you, but in all the talk about Kane in the first sitting, you forgot about it. Now the only question is, what does this mean? Does Sophie know her child is talking to you? Probably not. Don't hold it against me, but I admit finding some pleasure in seeing you suffer the effects of Father Anthony's fate. I suppose that's the demon in me. Hey, that's not cool. Fuck you. That was not okay. Do that again, I'm sure you read it. You'll get over it. You know, we should meet again. We've talked so much about myth, but maybe that's cowardly when the reality of fate is right in front of us. I will introduce you to Father Anthony. You're not sure whether it's a good idea. But Nos walks away and you follow his example, not wanting to hang around the cathedral any longer. We still have time for one more. This time I'll try to deal with this nosy reporter. Stay put and keep an eye out. Hey, you. You win. I hope you and Sophie Lang have a happy life. Yeah, it seems like it was over, but it's not, that's for sure. Anyway. Fate and myth. Approaching the cathedral on the street makes you nervous. You have been here twice, and twice something bad has happened, or almost happened, as in both cases you ran away. He suggests this time stop running and experience fate head on. Perhaps he's right. Maybe it is cowardly to take refuge in rationalization when you know that you found the holiness of the priest in your own damnation. Walking towards the door of the cathedral, you glance at the bench where you sat when you first met Bernard. It's waiting for you, sitting and contemplating the cathedral's Gothic architecture. Are you sure we can meet here? Don't worry, we're not going inside. It looks different than before, intense, certain. You have some time to think about what we spoke of before. I'm not sure what to believe. All these stories seem so fantastical. You don't have to believe, you just have to open your heart to the fate Father Anthony represents. Let's go see him. It's better not to talk in the cathedral, so I arranged for us to see him at his home. I have a car nearby. This better be on the level. Well, beyond that kind of tough talking, you think. You follow Bernard as he walks down the street until you come to his car, surprisingly pedestrian, family setting. The essence of the masquerade is its conspicuousness. Nobody expected a vampire to drive a car like this. Bernard drives towards Queens. Into these moments, you feel most anonymous, just a speck of dust in a whereas machine where every action influences the host in a tiny way. In tiny ways. The one thing you've learned about the kindred is that they're not lacking in self-regard. The Prince of Camarilla is said to rule the domain, yet how much do they really affect mortal affairs? If you ask a vampire, they say a lot. Perhaps that's what made Bernard turn inward, the futility of finding meaning in the secret, predatory existence. Bernard stops in front of a red brick row house, a little run down, but probably not cheap. Bernard knows your interests. Father Anthony comes from an old New York family. He inherited the house. When I first met him, I was suspicious, so I checked up on him. Despite the way he keeps putting him in dangerous situations, kindred paranoia seems to come naturally to Bernard. Perhaps there's something you can learn from him. He knows we're vampires, right? Yes, he knows. He doesn't know everything I've told you about Ken in the first city and so on, but he knows we're no longer human. You follow Bernard to the stairs, looking around for any signs of ambush. As you get to the door, the first signs of the trepidation hit you, the discomfort, the pain that follow once you're inside. It feels like a physical thing, a burning sensation under the skin, in your blood. You look to see how your Bernard is taking it. He's smiling, eyes closed for a second before knocking on the door. Almost as if he's enjoying the sensation. The door opens and you see Father Anthony's kindly face. Your body feels as if in a vice. You haven't really been bothered by hardcore since you were embraced, but now it feels like the surface of your skin is overwhelmed with sensation. The fear and terror are paralyzing. Yes, you better hear Bernard whisper. Come in, you two. I may not know much, but I know enough not to do this on the porch. You force yourself to follow Father Anthony into the apartment. Despite the splitting headache and rising panic, it's hard to take in your surroundings. Everything seems to vibrate, seeking to engulf you. Framed portraits on a mantelpiece, a cross on the wall, a living room with lots of books, many of them old. I'm not sure I can offer you anything. You don't drink tea, I suppose. No, we don't. Why do I feel pain? If this is holiness, why does it feel like pain? Oh, my child, I understand that thanks to your condition. You're under unusual stress. Please, Father, you know that this is difficult for us. You will forgive me if I don't waste time. Father Anthony looks pain. Whether because of the rudeness of our sympathy for your condition, you can't tell. Emotions for you to sit down, but you and Bernard are both too agitated to do so. You feel trapped, like a moth being smeared against a burning light bulb. It's hard to look at Father Anthony, but you can't look at anything else either. Bernard is starting to look increasingly unhinged. His eyes as if singing to some divine man just outside the grasp of your sense. That's the time, my friend. You have to decide if you're ready for salvation. Prove your faith by embracing the Father and let his radiance envelop you. Wait. Yes, I'm ready. Bernard smiles cruelly as you fall to your knees in front of Father Anthony. Saddle. Father Anthony takes a step back. Bernard, what are you doing? Father, it's time to be redeemed for both of us. Bernard falls to his knee next to you, lifting his face in full embrace of the holy agony. This is not right, But no, everyone has a chance for salvation. I understand there's something God present that burns you, but you can't walk through it. Please, Benoit, there are many paths to salvation and will find yours. I won't hurt you and your friend. He moans in pain, stricken with grief and disbelief at Father's Anthony's refusal. Please, Father, they don't even believe, not true. He looks at you and seems to waver. Even his belief in salvation has limits. Profess your belief. I believe, Father, I just need to find a way. Your response makes Father Anthony still has resolve. He's a man of grace, and he believes salvation extends to everyone, even the vampires. But no, your weakness blinds you. Sometimes the martyr's scar comes to a special kind of vanity, where they imagine their pain is holiness. Yet our goal must always be to help our fellow man find the right path. Benoit is still kneeling. He looks at Father Anthony in confusion and surprise. Please, Father, forgive me. I don't know. Shush, Benoit. We have time to talk. Meanwhile, I think it's better for your friend to leave. I can't claim to understand the effect I seem to have on your kind, but I'm not convinced it's all salutary. Father Anthony looks at you kind. Go, I hope we can talk again someday. There's hope for everyone, even you. You are weeping tears of blood staining your cheeks, staggering and stumbling. You retreat to the door, the distance between you and the Father already making it hurt less. You hear Benoit's whisper of confessions behind you as you escape to the night. You say, but the implications of your experience are troubling. What does this mean? Whether practical or spiritual, it feels like you have to think about this for a long time. You're free to return to your haven, and there's a distinct temptation to keep the events of the night to yourself. Yet these events cannot be good for the Masquerade. Keep the events of the night to yourself. Sometimes the right choice is to do nothing at all. You walk back to your haven alone as usual among the people who crowd the New York sidewalks even at night. You think Sophie would take kindly for that? I don't know. I don't think so. Holiness hurts. That's an inescapable conclusion from what happened. I had to say what words like salvation and damn mean in modern nights, but the way you found Father Anthony's presence is an unavoidable fact. Father Anthony and his faith is the key. You could walk into a church and find across your heart's content. None of that means anything. It's only in the presence of living faith that holiness becomes manifest. Perhaps one day you'll have the courage to go back to Father's Anthony. Okay, the guy's back. We need to take care of him now. I thought we agreed there's no story. You sure you want to go that far? Where did this extra money come from? It doesn't feel like you could get anything more out of him. Or perhaps that's just something you can tell yourself because you see the sweet blood moving on his skin. It's not just there. Frankly, it's not a beautiful man, but yeah, I've learned that any mortal's veins can be appreciated if you look with them long enough. Blood is the great equalizer. Young or rich or poor, they all serve as sustenance to you. You decide to give up on Frank. If you drink him dry, he won't come back again. Make it a pleasant death. You're grown to life, Frank. Despite everything, you want to make his last moments pleasant. Close your eyes, I'll make you feel good. Frank doesn't have time to react before you take him into your arms and gently bite down on his neck. The bliss of your bite overwhelms, and he moans in helpless desire. It's difficult to say what the brain realizes you're killing him. He struggles weakly, but that could just be from the sensation your body gives him. By the time life is in his body, he can't do much more than lean on. You have come to learn that all mortals taste a little different. The trace of their lives showing in their blood, in their veins. Their emotions push through, making each feeling different. It's a question of taste. Whether you prefer your prey scale or rouse. You drain your feel as drain goes in your arms, falling down, his body laughs. There was a richness to his blood that you appreciate. You have already learned that it's a mistake to judge the quality of blood based on the mortal's looks, and Frank certainly shows that to be true. There's a dumpster in the alley. Straining a little, you haul Frank's body into it. You tear at his clothes and take his wallet to make it look like a mocking gun rock. Not long ago, doing something like this could have been inconceivable. Now it's just feeding. Whatever. Now we don't have to worry about the guy. We have done this before, so let's just keep it. We have already done this before. I don't really like doing it again. God damn it.
Eyeing you the whole time. He takes the glass and takes a big gulp. Yeah, you are a woman after all. Hmm. We're kind of near the end of the game already. Tell Sophie you can't meet to talk. Drive around before the meeting. Tell Sophie you can't meet to talk. Colin knows you'll be seeking talk out. Someone that know that your parents didn't know where you spend your days, so it's too risky. Sophie will have to come up with another plan, or just do it her damn self. You stop at her haven, not looking forward to the conversation you're about to have. Sophie's not at home when you visit. You wait for her impatiently, all the while considering whether this is the best course of action. Once she does come in, a good hour after you arrive, she's all smiles and warm. Midori, good evening. How's your task going? I have something for me, perhaps. Things got complicated. I don't want to meet with Tor. I must immediately grows cold, and so does Sophie's demeanor. I thought I made it clear repressively. What do you mean you don't want to meet him? I almost died yesterday. Collins grabbed me and they beat me
within an inch of my life. Or unlife, whatever. I almost died. I beat me to talk to finish the job. Oh. Something like pity appears in her eyes for just a moment. She looks at you disappointed and sad, and then her features sharpens. I understand your concern. Nonetheless, I would ask you to continue, even if it's risky. You really don't care about me, do you? I mean, is this expendable to you? This is not a matter of you being expendable or not. This is about what needs to be done. You do not understand how much it depends on you making contact with talk, and how important it is that I don't do it in person. It brings me no joy to remind you, but I still hold the right of destruction over you. If I have to call it, or to make you do my bidding, I... That's just cold. Do what I ask, Aki. Is that the pep talk you just came up with? You're trying my patience. Suddenly, Sophie's demeanor changed entirely. Although her features do not shift, she's now a source of fear for you. She is grim, determined, and seems utterly impossible to negotiate. You will leave now and go back to the task at hand. You will not return until you have set up the meeting. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Sophie. Go and mirror direct quick times right now. If it does, you'll be of no more use to me. That final threat hits hard. You take your leave quickly, eager to get away from Sophie's terrifying presence. You relax a bit in the car, but are still certain that you must obey her. Yeah, I just want to see what happened if you decide to pick up that option. And just like I thought, she will do that. It's that or your life. I have a score to settle with this fucker. You're so fucking don't even know it, you stupid piece of shit. You hit Vince once, twice. He's struggling in the beginning, but you focus your blood for some extra and keep hitting him, and again more until he stops laughing. His bruised, battered, broken. The two Anarchs dudes let go of him, and you kick him some more as he's on the floor. You only stop when you hear Talk's voice. In absent now, Tor Midori. He takes an old cue and breaks it over his knee. Stick him and take him downstairs. Let's keep Callahan guessing what happened to his favorite puppy. Now takes a sharp piece of wood and jams into Vince's chest. His object grows slack, his entire body inert.
You have to watch yourself then. Colin will not dare act against me. You on the other hand, he already proved that's not a concern of his. You must meet with Toss, so stay vigilant. I'm counting on you, Midori. The final piece of the puzzle is about to find its way to its destination. After that, we'll get our just reward. Everybody. Yeah. You'll get your end. Well, you really want me to do this, You lock onto the sound of footsteps, predicting the runner's path. You move swiftly but quietly to intercept. You hide behind a tree and wait for your prey to get closer. Mere seconds later, a young man in an off-brand truck should thrust into views. You notice a body in his ears, with heavy music playing through. That should make things here easier. Just as the man passed by you, much behind him, playing your hand firmly on his neck. This struck us was desperate, trying to break free of your grasp. As soon as your fang pierces skin, panic gives way to peaceful submission. You feel elated as the warm liquid trickles down your throat. The fresh batar washed over your sense, sending an orgasmic shiver along your spine. Somewhere in the deepest, darkest crevice of your mind, the beast stir in its slumber. You start feeding just in time. Your hunger satiates the beast fast asleep. You sit the dead victim on a nearby bench. As the world comes back into focus, you suddenly realize that something's not right. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Yeah. So you can buy, let's see your bike. Guess I know who the alpha is. A barely visible smile creeps up on Tamika's lips. The man's eyes narrow, although you can't really see it. You can bet the hair on the back of his neck just stood up. Shut your mouth, you stuck up bitch. You should have run when you had the chance. That's right. Well, it sounds better the way I said it, but yeah, that's the gist of it. That's very honest of you. I also kind of silly, but I think I'm okay with it. What I'm not okay is putting my ass on the line and getting stabbed in the back for my trouble. So why should I trust anything you say? I don't expect you to. Not yet anyway. Good, because my trust is not given. Then let me own it. I feel nice of your time, that's all I ask. Can I rest now? There we go. What the? Well, I'll be damned. The shifty fucker delivered the goods. Do we have them? We gotta scram and fast for us. Seeing their faces is surprising. Even more so in these circumstances, you immediately realize that you're in danger though, and follow your companions out of the car and into a street in not bronze. Well, do you stop flicking on the upholstery and answer? Or should I? You should give a name to. Yeah, I know why the cat crow. Wouldn't you? You haven't seen the angel themselves. No one is there quite like the only shooting cousin now. As much as I enjoy tempering your overinflated ego, we're nearing our destination, so I think I'll move on. God damn, the music is so fucking loud. What is wrong with this thing? I can't hear anything. Like, what the fuck? We had to improvise. It's just ridiculously loud. Talk, listen to Sophie. We can't afford to miss this opportunity. Colin has to be stopped. I didn't ask about your opinion, Flashling. If their stats could actually kill, you would get decapitated by his. Sophie smiles. Ethan, that's just typical. You're all for democracy in the rule of many, but oh, as long as they vote your way, dissenting voices silence. You're no better than Camarilla. Fuck this. Talk takes a bottle off the counter and brushes it over the bar. With a jagged piece of glass in his hand, he points at Sophie. You two have precisely the counter fire to get out here. Before I cut you up in little piece one. You wouldn't dare. Try me too. Yeah, blah blah blah. What the fuck? Fortitude shield, talk, and Sophie. It's not smart, but this is what your instinct tells you to do. You jump in front of the sword, just as it pulled the trigger. Bullets sing into your body, ripping and tearing your flesh, each projectile a micro bomb exploding inside you. A combat knife crashed through the soldier's into his skull. You turn around, talk is grinning, he mouths something under his breath. Langley? Finally, I've been waiting for this. I have it on good authority that Oscar is blood-bound to Prince Pennet. Yeah, it's already done this one, an ever-present risk, but it didn't stop me so far, and no word now. I don't like that he's involved, but then again, I've been in this city long enough to know he's usually involved in some way. What was the address skip? Let's stop. Okay. Just like the same time, I wonder if we're going to see Sophie getting her head chopped off again. Okay. Ah.
Dominate command the assassin to stop. Stop. Oh Midori, your character is moving at a breakneck pace. Moving up and up and up. Adeline, escort the prince and D.O. Douglas, please. Sure thing, darling. Keep reading until the lecturer gave me the piece of wisdom I needed to go on, blah blah blah. I like that kind of resourcefulness. I could use, yes. I think the story will end no matter what. This is the same way. Maybe I could try to be extremely, you know, discreet and not use anything. But I don't think that's the case. If you don't feed anybody, you're going to die.